exercises. You got sheriffs training their deputies out here in this lot. Walked by, noticed the large amount of activity, so decided to film. It'll be a short live film, and then I'll head on my way. This is by Bear County Jail. This is at on South Comal actually, and the jail's on North Comal. So either way. So you'll see the gentlemen. They're wearing their duty belts, weapons, etc. But you'll notice the distinct difference in their uniforms. They're doing vehicle training right here. Hello, how you doing? I'm doing great. You guys doing training this morning? Good to see it. Good to see it. So that patch on that officer, he's a motorcycle officer, for those who don't recognize that. And you see right now what he's doing, he's using those tuning forks, calibrating. They're calibrating the radar detector, making sure that it's accurate. And this is something they should be doing every day. And they should have a log of it. And again, it's important to get this type of training in here. You have another cadet coming in. Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
How you doing? So.
Well, I don't know. I'm going to come talk to you. Hi, how you doing?
I'm doing great. Yourself?
Good, good. Can I help you with anything?
Oh, no. I was just passing through. Saw you guys are training. See you guys calibrating your radar training.
Testing. We're testing them.
Yeah. I mean, and again, this is stuff that the public has a right to have information
I
on.
don't have any problem with you recording.
Okay. Well,
see if you need anything specific.
Right. Got you. So anyway, you were concerned if he had a problem with me recording. So, that's what I'm doing. I record in public all the time. This is something that the public has an interest in. And again, it's officers in the course of their duty. So that's what I'm doing. Do you have any other questions for me, Officer McDougal?
Deputy McDougal. It's Deputy McDougal.
Oh, Deputy.
Yeah. And when do you put this to the public?
Right now, it's
how do they get it?
Actually, right now it's on live.
Oh, cool.
This is upstreaming live. I'm not one of those huge people. There's actually only 2 people watching it right now.
Good morning, everybody.
And
Sergeant Avila, Bear County Sheriff's Office.
Okay.
Part of the traffic safety unit.
Right.
And we are testing radar today.
Okay. Well, again, I noticed that, and I'm pointing that out.
Yeah.
And
but let them know we don't calibrate. We test.
Okay.
Calibration is done at the factory. We test them.
I'm glad you brought that up because I misspoke there, but that is important.
It's a large misconception. People think we calibrate. We don't calibrate. The factory does that.
And then
we test them.
Right.
And then every 2 years, Stalker who makes these comes to us,
and then
they recalibrate.
Recalibrate it, and then they come out. So
right. We just test them every day.
The tuning forks are just basically making sure that you're within those parameters. So it's
correct.
Again, not calibrating. It's testing.
It's making sure the darn thing works.
Gotcha.
So when you get a ticket, you can't say, "What? That thing doesn't work." Yeah, it does. I tested it.
Exactly. And again, when I show my viewers things like this, it's important for them to know that
Sure.
you guys, take the time to do this.
Because we don't want them to think we're just willy-nilly throwing tickets at people.
He
doesn't know what he's doing. We know what we're doing.
And
we're teaching these guys how to do it too.
And exactly. And I mean, let's face it, guys. Nobody who gets pulled over by any officer is happy at the moment.
No.
And
I haven't met one yet. I've been doing this 22 years, and no one's happy when they're like, really?
And there is a lot of misinformation.
Yes,
As a matter of
there
fact, I would have just put some out a minute ago when I said they're calibrating versus testing.
Right. Correct. So they are testing, not calibrating.
Right. And so obviously these are not light. They're radar or so. You guys also use the LIDAR or
we have LIDAR, but that's mainly assigned to traffic. These are patrol deputies. Patrol doesn't use LIDAR. They just use radar.
Gotcha.
We use LIDAR and radar.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah. And so, I mean, LIDAR's what's the way for me to put this? It's much more accurate to start with.
Super accurate.
So like within, I believe it's 1/10 of a mile of an hour usually that you guys.
No, it is accurate up to the mile.
No, well, when I say like you can do like 95.3 is what on most units. So when I say it's accurate, it's very accurate.
Well, it's super accurate, way more than radar. Radar does a cone,
Right.
Where laser puts an actual point on your license plate, so you can pick out specific
Vehicles, right.
As opposed to radar that just gets a cone, and you have to actually look and see which car is speeding.
Right, and so again, with when people object to things like that, because I call it lidar. Either way, the enunciation doesn't matter. People get upset about that, but I mean, for me as a citizen, I think it's a better thing because the officer has a direct line of sight to the vehicle. It's very specific and targeted.
Yeah.
For example, 21 feet at 1,000 feet is the width of that actual.
It's about 3 inches
And-
1,000 feet. At a radar at 1,000 feet, it's 231.
Exactly.
Way big difference.
And so people go, well, how do you know it wasn't this car versus that car?
Right.
So
Which is a good argument to make with radar.
Mm-hmm.
With lidar, you can't make that. Your license plate is 10 inches, 12 inches wide. Well, if it's only 3 inches wide at 1,000 feet, it probably got your license plate.
gotcha.
And even then with radar, we're going to visually track and observe the cars that are coming. And let's say you have two cars, usually you'll have one that's passing the other one. It's
Right.
obvious who the car that was going faster.
Right. And again, I mean, these are things a lot of people just don't know. Like I said, you've never seen me. I'm not usually out in the county. I'm usually within the city area. But I film in public all the time. If you do see me out and you're on a stop, I'm not going to approach you. I'll keep my distance, but this is what I do. It's nothing against officers. We like to keep accountability out there, show people what's going on. And like I always tell people, nobody really likes being on camera. I mean,
we're
except
We're
for
on
you.
camera all the time.
Yeah.
We're in training right now. We don't have ours on us.
Right.
But we have them on all the time.
Whenever we're
So,
engaged in the public and our
we're-
duties,
we're
our
used to it.
official duties.
Right.
Yeah,
I'm
And-
going to get back to it. It was
okay.
good to meet you.
Well, I appreciate it. Give you a fist bump there.
man.
Yeah.
Just
Okay,
be safe,
thank
all
you. So again, the officer was concerned with whether I should be allowed to be filming their training, and I got some good information because again, I did misspeak. I said they're calibrating. They're not calibrating. They're testing. That goes, different little things. Some of his information and some of my information. Everything. Love that comment. It's about 3 inches. Sorry, I have to laugh about that. When people get to see their officers in a non-threatening manner, they get the opportunity to look at them as human beings as well, because a lot of people are anti-police. I'm anti-bad police, but if I walked around with the assumption that every officer who walks up to me is, going to try to jam me up or lie or whatever. I mean, as soon as I pointed my camera over at the one officer and he pointed and he, was like, hey, Sergeant, do you want this guy filming us? I mean, I could have just gone into, oh, to hell with you, it's my right. But, I know that this happens, and the guy says, oh, well, we're on film all the time. We don't have a problem with it. But obviously he did, or he wouldn't have told the sergeant to come ask me. And again, the issue with when you film the police is doing it where you can still get your view in and not obstruct. And, if you're 10 feet away, that should be good, but some officers don't feel safe. So, work within, what's reasonable. At the same time, an officer telling you to get back, 300 yards, that's not reasonable. That's not, something that a normal person, I'm sorry, I'm trying to read the comments. But again, when I come out and I do this, I don't come out to intentionally antagonize officers or cause a problem. And I know a lot of officers' initial thoughts, that's what's going on. Just like a commenter posted there, maybe the next time you see someone filming, he'll have a second thought and go, hey, these guys aren't all bad. They're not all out trying to clown us. And again, there's nothing wrong with filming the police. Some officers get upset about it. And when they do get upset about it, you have to choose how you de-escalate, because once an officer gets upset, unfortunately, 90% of officers, once they get to the point where they're escalating things, lack de-escalation skills. They lack the ability to be reasonable. At that point, they want to insist that they have the right, they can do whatever they want, and they'll intimidate, lie, violate your rights, things like that. So if you can de-escalate it initially, you're better off. Just like, when I saw that starting coming up and speaking with me, I'm like, okay, I knew what was happening, and I'm going to stand my rights, but I'm also going to explain what I'm doing. And if doing that in a polite way, you get the results that you want. It's a win-win for them. It's a win-win for me. I'm not detained any longer than needed. I got a good interview in there as well, and I'm still able to document all the training that's going on out here. So, versus if I just started making a scene and being nasty about all that, then you would see that there's a huge difference in approach there. So guys, I'm going to go ahead and end this. This is Bexar County Jail is right across the street, and this is pretrial services. Unfortunately, I know that building too well because of the fact that I have been unlawfully arrested and had to fight my charges. When you're out on bond or bail, you're assigned to the pretrial office, and that's why that is there. So, they can make sure you're not fleeing, not doing all the crazy things that they put on your requirements. So here you have the inside of their vehicle, lap screen, sheriff's office, and traffic control or traffic patrol by the sheriffs. A lot of people just say, oh, well, they're just a bunch of road pirates. It is important that they try to get out there and make themselves visible. I'd much rather have officers out there in marked vehicles. I don't necessarily agree with the whole concept behind the stealth vehicles for aggressive drivers, blah, blah, blah. But we are in Bexar County, and Bexar County unfortunately has a huge number of DUI incidents every year. Unlicensed, unregistered, uninsured drivers. And so what these guys are doing out on the streets is important. So, yeah, I hear you. My battery's getting low. Doesn't matter. I was actually came out this morning to get something from VIA because I got an email saying they had some of my public information act requests. So, walked down, got that, and I'm just heading back. I don't live too far from here. So, do appreciate you guys noticing that. Good morning. Oh, nothing. They're just training. There's nothing bad going on. It's just officers training. Good morning. So I'm out of here, guys. Nothing else to see here. You see these guys breaking up, and you guys have a good day. Be safe.